Hello everybody! Today we will take a look at the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. As we speak, this book has a rank of 10 in all book categories in Amazon, and it is in the first ranks of psychology, business and self-help. Before we start, drop a like in the video and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it already. What is habit? A habit is a behavior that is performed regularly and automatically. But why does our brain build habits? We always try to find solutions for a problem with trial and error, and when we find something rewarding, our brain reinforces that behavior and decreases the mental load by making it automatic. Habits are useful because they free up mental capacity. Tiny changes make a big difference. We believe that massive success requires massive action. Whether it is losing weight, building a business, or winning a championship, we put pressure on ourselves to make some huge improvement that everyone will talk about. But let's look at the graph. When we make 1% improvement every day, after a year we will be 37 times better. In the opposite, when we repeat poor decisions and we are getting worse 1% every day, after a year we will be 3% of our initial state. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. This can be a difficult concept to appreciate in daily life. Habits often appear to make no difference until you cross a critical threshold. You expect to make progress in a linear fashion, and it is frustrating how ineffective changes may seem during the first days, weeks, and even months. Breakthrough moments are often the results of many previous actions, which build up the potential required to unleash a major change. When you finally break through the plateau, people will call it an overnight success. How your habits shape your identity and vice versa. There are 3 layers of behavior change. The first layer is changing your outcomes and goals. For example, losing weight, publishing a book, winning a championship. The second layer is changing your processes, your habits and systems. For example, implementing a new routine at the gym, decluttering your desk for better workflow. The third and deepest layer is changing your identity. This level is concerned with changing your beliefs, your worldview, your self-image. All levels of change are useful in their own way. The problem is the direction of change. This is the direction we have when we change our habit based on outcome, and this based on identity. Imagine 2 people resisting a cigarette. When offered a smoke, the first person says, "No, thanks, I'm trying to quit." The second person declines by saying, "No, thanks, I'm not a smoker." He made the behavior his identity. That's why it is stronger. You might start a habit because of motivation, but the only reason you'll stick with one is that it becomes part of your identity. The goal is not to read a book, the goal is to become a reader. The more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce the identity associated with that behavior. Decide the type of person you want to be and prove it to yourself with small wins. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity shapes your habits. How habits work? All habits proceed through the 4 stages in the same order. Cue. It is a bit of information that predicts a reward and triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. Your mind is continuously analyzing your environment for hints of where rewards are located. Craving is the motivational force behind every habit. What you crave is not the habit itself, but the change in state it delivers. You do not crave smoking a cigarette, you crave the feeling of relief it provides. People are not motivated by the same cues. For a gambler, the sound of slot machines can be a trigger that sparks an intense wave of desire. For someone who rarely gambles, they are just background noise. Cues are meaningless until they are interpreted. The thoughts, feelings, and emotions transforms a cue into a craving. Response is the actual habit you perform. It depends on how motivated you are and how much friction is associated with the behavior. Rewards are the end goal of every habit. We chase rewards because they satisfy us and teach us which actions are worth remembering in the future. We can implement specific strategies in every stage to create positive habits and avoid negative. At the first stage of a cue, make it obvious. Fill out the habit scoreboard. One of our greatest challenges in changing habits is maintaining awareness of what we are actually doing. Make a list of your daily habits and mark them as good, bad, or neutral. Noticing your bad habits make the consequences seem more real and adds weight to the action. Time and location. The two most common cues are time and location. When the moment of action occurs, there is no need to make a decision. Simply follow your predetermined plan. It helps you say no to things that distract your attention and pull you off course. For example, I will exercise every day at 3 p.m. when I return home from work. Habit stacking. Identify a current habit you already do each day and then stack your new behavior on top. For example, when I go to bed, I will read a book for 30 minutes. You can use your habit scoreboard you filled previously. Design your environment. Create obvious visual cues that draw your attention toward a desired habit. Every habit is context dependent. Many of the actions we take each day are shaped not by choice but by the most obvious and available option. If you want to drink more water, fill up a few water bottles each morning and place them in common locations around the house. Habits can be easier to change in a new environment. It is easier to associate a new habit with a new context than to build a new habit in the face of competing cues. Trying to eat healthier? It is likely that you shop on autopilot at your regular supermarket. Try a new grocery store. Make it invisible. Once a habit has been coded, the urge to act follows wherever the environmental cues reappear. You can break a habit, but you are unlikely to forget it. In the short run, you can choose to resist temptation. In the long run, we become a product of the environment that we live in. If you're playing too many video games, unplug the console and put it in the closet after its use. Rather than make it obvious, you can make it invincible. At the second stage of craving, make it attractive. The more attractive an opportunity is, the more likely it is to become habit-forming. Every behavior that is habit-forming is associated with higher levels of a neurotransmitter called dopamine, which is linked with anticipating reward. Gambling addicts have a dopamine spike right before they place a bet, not after they win. What we can do at this stage? Link an action you want to do with an action you need to do. For example, watching Netflix while riding your stationary bike. Join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Humans are herd animals. We want to fit in. Often we follow the habits of our culture, and in particular we're imitating what most people do, what the close to us do, and what the successful people do. Create a motivational ritual. Do something you enjoy immediately before a difficult habit. For example, have a cup of coffee before you go to the gym. Reframe your mindset. Highlight the benefits of avoiding your bad habits. At the third stage of response, make it easy. To master a habit, the key is to start with repetition, not perfection. You do not need to map out every feature of a new habit. You just need to practice it. Reduce friction. Decrease the number of steps between you and your good habits. Every action requires a certain amount of energy. The more energy required, the less likely it is to occur. You are more likely to go to the gym if it is on your way when you return from work. Prepare your environment. One of the most effective ways to reduce the friction associated with your habits is to practice environment design. Want to exercise? Set up your workout clothes ahead of time. Want to improve your diet? Chop up a ton of fruits and vegetables on weekends and pack them in containers so you have easy access to healthy options during the week. Master the decisive moment. It is easier to continue what you're already doing than to start doing something different. You sit through a bad movie for 2 hours. If I change clothes, I know the workout will happen. Everything that follows is easier once I have taken the first step. Decisive moments set the options available to your future self. For instance, walking into a restaurant, it is a decisive moment because it determines what you will be eating for lunch. Your options are constrained by what's available. They are shaped by the first choice. Downscale your habits until they can be done in 2 minutes or less. When you start a new habit, start small. Read before bed each night starts with read 1 page. The action that follows can be challenging, but at the start it should be easy. Make choices in the present that control your actions in the future. It is a way to log in future behavior. For example, you can voluntarily ask to be added to the banned list at casinos and online poker sites to prevent future gambling. At the 4th stage of reward, make it satisfying. What is rewarded is repeated. What is punished is avoided. But there's a trick. We're not looking for just any type of satisfaction. We are looking for immediate satisfaction. We live in a delayed return environment because we can work for years before your actions deliver the intended payout. The consequences of bad habits are delayed while the rewards are immediate. Smoking might kill you in 10 years, but it reduces stress now. What we can do at this stage? Give yourself an immediate reward when you complete your habit. The feeling of success is a signal that your habit paid off and that the work was worth the effort. Make doing nothing enjoyable. When avoiding a bad habit, design a way to see the benefits. For example, open a saving account and label it for something you want, maybe leather jacket. Put money to reward yourself when you avoid something negative. Use a habit tracker. Making progress is satisfying and visual measures provide clear evidence of your progress. Keep track of your habit streak on a calendar on an app. But be careful not to become driven by the numbers, rather than the purpose behind them. For example, sometimes we care more about getting 10,000 steps than we do about being healthy. We optimize for what we measure. When we choose the wrong measurement, we get the wrong behavior. Never miss twice. When you forget to do a habit, make sure you get back on track immediately. When successful people fail, they rebound quickly. Create a habit contract. It is a verbal or written agreement in which you state your commitment to a particular habit and the punishment that will occur if you don't follow through. Then find 1 or 2 people to act as your accountability partners and sign off on the contract with you. Define the punishment if you fail. For example, if I don't go to the gym, I will give you 50 euros. Make the cause of your bad habits public and painful. Advanced tactics. How to stay motivated. The human brain loves a challenge, but only if it is within an optimal zone of difficulty. If you love tennis and try to play it against a 4-year-old, you will quickly become bored. It is too easy. In contrast, if you play a professional tennis player like Roger Federer, you will quickly lose motivation because the match is too difficult. To achieve a state of flow and to fully immerse in activity, a task must be roughly 4% beyond your current ability. Working on challenges of just manageable difficulty seems crucial for maintaining motivation. The downside of creating good habits. As a habit becomes automatic, you become less sensitive to feedback. It becomes easier to let mistakes slide. When you can do it good enough on autopilot, you stop thinking about how to do it better. If you aim for mastery, your need is a combination of automatic habits and deliberate practice. My total rating of the book is 4.7 stars. I will leave you with the conclusion of the book. Success is not a goal to reach or a finish line to cross. It is a system to improve and endless process to refine. Thank you.